Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A Video, the official Q&A video series of NoDQ.com. I have an important announcement regarding NoDQ&A Video, but I will save that for the very end. For now, let's get right down to your questions. First one today comes from Second Sation. How would you book the six-man tag team match between The Shield and Big Show, Randy Orton, and Sheamus? I'll talk more about this match in detail next week. I will have my full WrestleMania 29 predictions, a video going up sometime next week. But I will talk about what I would do for this match right now. A lot of people have been asking me also about Randy Orton. Should he turn heel? Will he turn heel at WrestleMania? If it was me, if it was my decision, I would pull the trigger on the Randy Orton heel turn at WrestleMania. Have the Shield beat Big Show, Randy Orton, and Sheamus, and then have Randy Orton turn on his opponents. You could either do that or have Orton turn on them during the match, leading to the Shield winning. Have some sort of miscommunication, and Orton just snaps. Because the way they've been building it up for WrestleMania right now, you know, the question is, can you trust Big Show? So that's what everyone's thinking about, is Big Show. Having Randy Orton turn is not something that has even been hinted at on WWE television. So I think it would be a nice little surprise to have Orton turn, and I think it makes logical sense, and I think the timing is right. I think it's time to turn Randy Orton, and I think turning him heel at WrestleMania would be a great opportunity to do something big with him at WrestleMania, something that people are going to remember. I think it's a perfect place to do it. So if it was me, I would turn Randy Orton heel at WrestleMania and have that be the reason that the Shield wins. This one comes from DX, Are You Ready? Hey Aaron, what did you make of the whole Muhammad Hassan Undertaker angle from 2005? Do you think WWE could have done more to save him from being released? He had a good gimmick and was so over at the time, he could have been a top heel in the company. Please answer in video. To this day, I'm still not really sure what the hell happened there. I know WWE got some heat over that whole terrorist angle with Hassan and Undertaker. And because of that heat, they quickly dropped the character. They just killed it dead. And I think that was just a travesty. I was really disappointed with that. I was a big fan of the Muhammad Hassan character. I really liked the gimmick. And it just got instant heat. I mean, I loved the theme music, for starters. When he would come out and, you know, you have the guy in the beginning, the crowd would immediately erupt in boos. It was just an awesome gimmick. And he was a great heel character. And I thought that his promos were really good. And, you know, he actually felt like he was a big deal. He was in there with Hulk Hogan and then with Undertaker, and yeah, it was definitely a gimmick that should have gone longer, and it got cut short way too quickly. And to this day, I still don't know why they had to drop it, and you know, they didn't even attempt to salvage it. They just dropped it, and that was the end. And it wasn't so much that they released him. Muhammad Hassan, the guy, he just ended up, you know, quitting and going on to something else. And, you know, you can't really blame him because he was doing so well with that character, and then it just got taken away from him. So it would suck to have to start from scratch, and I guess he just felt, you know, he was going to do something else with his life. All right, this one comes from Matty Don. Hey, Aaron, what, in your opinion, was bigger and better, Hogan and Rock at WrestleMania 18 or Rock versus Cena at WrestleMania 28? Well, I think in terms of just pure box office, which match drew more money, I mean, Rock versus Cena was right up there. You know, the biggest pay-per-view buy rate in WWE history. I think, you know, it's neck and neck with WrestleMania 23. The numbers for WrestleMania 28 keep changing, but at one point they had announced it as the biggest all-time buy rate for WWE. So Rock and Cena, you know, set a ton of records, and, you know, attendance-wise and you know, Livegate, all these things, all these records were set by Rock versus Cena. So when you look at box office, Rock versus Cena was bigger. But in terms of a match that people are going to remember, you know, people to this day still talk about Hogan and Rock. And Hogan and Rock was just a special moment, not just because it was the two biggest stars of their eras going at it, but also because people weren't expecting Hogan to get the kind of reaction that he got. So it was a really special moment. To have Hulk Hogan come back to WWE for one more big WrestleMania match. And just for me personally, that match is more special because I grew up on Hulk Hogan. And, you know, it was really cool to see him come back and, you know, all the nostalgia. Whereas Rock versus Cena was a little bit different because Rock is still a guy who's at the top of his game. With Hulk Hogan, it was more like the Babe Ruth of wrestling, the old legend coming back for one more big moment. Whereas with Rock coming back, it was more like a new chapter in his WWE career, and he's just coming back and doing his thing again, just like he was in the past. Where with Hulk Hogan, he's a guy who's past his prime, but you're reliving your childhood one more time with Hulk Hogan. So I think it is a little bit different, a different feel to it, Hogan and Rock compared to Rock versus Cena. But no doubt, both of them are right at the top of the biggest matches of all time. All right, this one comes from JM Sticks 97. Hey Aaron, if Umaga hadn't passed away, do you think he would have had a major role in the company today? To be honest with you, I don't think he would have had a big role in WWE. He got his big push, and then he kind of faded away. The gimmick was only going to go so far. And, he had a really good run as a heel for a couple of years. He had a big match with John Cena, I remember, at the Royal Rumble, and, the feud with Bobby Lashley. But part of it was also, Umaga having personal issues, and, the whole reason they released him was because he had refused to go to rehab. So, they were concerned about his health, and rightfully so. They were trying to help him out, and he didn't want to get the help, and, that was very unfortunate. But yeah, if he had cleaned up his act, I suppose he might have stuck around a few more years, and they would have continued to push him. But most of these characters, especially these heel characters like Umaga, they have a shelf life. I mean, Great Khali, they pushed him hard for a couple of years, and then they turned him babyface and did comedy with him. And Kozlov is another example. I think with Umaga, had he stayed clean and healthy, they probably would have turned him babyface and done all the comedy stuff with him, and then that would have been the end of his run. All right, this one comes from James Ryan 37401. Hey Aaron, what do you think if Bobby Lashley would return to WWE? Good or bad? A reply would be great. Thanks. To be honest, I don't think that Bobby Lashley would make a huge impact if he was to return to WWE. He did get a huge push when he came in, much like Umaga, and he was part of the big WrestleMania 27 match, although, Bobby Lashley was actually a bit player in that match. It was all about Vince and Donald Trump and the hair stipulation, and Austin was there. So Bobby Lashley was just a guy. They could have put anybody in that role. So Bobby Lashley, he did make an impact a little bit, but you know what? A lot of people weren't really into his character, and he had a great build, great look, but when he cut promos, he just didn't come off as that intimidating, and I think that hurt him a lot. And if he came back, I think some people would pop for him, but I just don't think that he was all that much of a difference maker. And if he was going to return to WWE, I think he would have done it by now. I think the fact that he's been gone for so many years, I think that he's pretty much done with wrestling, and I would be surprised if we would see him back. All right, this one comes from WWE Fan 5. Hey Aaron, who do you think was the scariest looking wrestler ever? I'd have to say Bull Nakano when she was in AJW. My all-time top pick for scariest wrestler ever would have to be Ox Baker. And Ox Baker was this very scary looking wrestler in the 60s and 70s. Bald head, big thick handlebar mustache. When I was a little kid, my dad actually had a poster of Ox Baker in the living room, and for some reason he decided to put it right by my crib, and I was absolutely terrified. My first memory in my entire life was looking at that picture of Ox Baker, and I was just absolutely terrified, and my mom made my dad get rid of the poster, and he ended up putting it in a closet. And I was wandering into the closet, and I saw it again, and I freaked out. So finally, my dad just had to throw it out, and that was the end of it. But yeah, Ox Baker, for me personally, the all-time scariest-looking wrestler. And they really need more kind of wrestlers like that in today's WWE. Wrestlers that you look at them and you don't want to mess with them. You're absolutely terrified of them. You know what? Undertaker was a little bit scary, I think. I was a little bit older, 9, 10 years old, but Undertaker was creepy. And, when Undertaker came out, the little kids would be crying. So, when they first brought him in and made him really dark and he never talked, you know, probably in terms of modern wrestlers, I would go with Undertaker. All right, last one today comes from, I'm going to butcher this, Alaika Do1. I totally botched that, but whatever. Hey Aaron, what is a great way to get the attention of wrestling fans on YouTube? Simple. When WrestleMania is over, make a video and do nothing but complain. Just rant on everything, use profanity, maybe grab some furniture or DVDs and throw them, chuck them across the room. Just go crazy and just act like the biggest angry mark possible. And, I'll feature it on NoDQ.com and it'll spread and go viral and you'll have 15 minutes of fame. So that is my advice on how to get the attention of wrestling fans on YouTube. Or just make good videos. The choice is yours. Alright, that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. As I mentioned at the beginning, I have an announcement. As many of you know, FormSpring is shutting down as of the end of the month. So from this point forward, you can submit questions to No DQ&A video at ask.fm/AaronRiff. That will be the new location where you could submit questions. So I'll leave a link in the description box on YouTube. So ask.fm/AaronRiff. That's where you can submit questions, and I'll be back this coming week for more No DQ&A video as the road to WrestleMania continues.